mentioned earlier, we have well compliance based in Austin. And so if an operator is not properly filing reports, incorrect data, not timely, so on, that could lead to a penalty or an enforcement action. But we also had our inspectors in the field. They do routine unannounced inspections. They vary depending upon operator history, environmentally sensitive area, things of that sort. And then again, if there's a complaint received, we will dispatch an inspector to look into that as well. They also go and specifically witness activities that are taking place on the leads. And operators are required to schedule that with our inspectors and check in there before they can proceed with some of these activities. If we discover a violation, we're going to issue a notice of violation, and we're going to have the operator rectify that, and we give them a timeline and an expectation as to what we want to see happen. Now, this process can vary greatly because you may have the violation may be that the sign on the gate is incorrect. You may also have something that's much more dramatic, in which case we might go ahead and close the lease and move to enforcement immediately. So it's a broad spectrum there. But as we move into enforcement, we get into a hearings process, and ultimately we may issue penalties, we may do a well severance, or we may even pull that organization's P5 report. So I mentioned earlier, that's how you start. You get your P5 organization report. We can go in and revoke that or refuse to renew it. So if you have an issue with a well in Tarrant County, and that leads to this happening, that shuts down your operation throughout the state of Texas. If you've got wells all over the state, you can't operate any of them. You're basically out of business. So it's one of those things that is really helpful to us as a strong enforcement tool. Another great enforcement tool is the well severance. In this case, we can go in and sever the lease, which means you cannot produce the well, you cannot move any product off lease, no one can take it in a transport or a pipeline, any of that. You're basically stopping all operations, and that's something that we can do immediately. So it's a great tool for us, very effective, and is something that has an immediate day-to-day financial impact on that operator. So you can see from the statistics up there, it's a very effective and quick-acting tool. I just want to finish up by showing you some resources that are available on our website that may be helpful to you and your constituents. This is a screenshot of our website homepage, rrc.texas.gov, and on the right-hand side you see an area with useful links, and everything I'm going to show you, you can access from that useful links area. One of the newest things that we have is the RRC OIL, which stands for Online Inspection Lookup, and this is inspection data where you can actually go in and see what inspection have been conducted, what the reports were there violations, were there not, and so on. You can export that into an Excel database. This is a new thing that just came out this spring. We're very excited about it, and we hope to continue to make improvements to this moving ahead. So if you have feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. We also have online research queries. You can go in and look up drilling permits, completion reports, production reports, just a vast array of data right there. Anybody can go in and just run those research queries and find all of that information. We have frequently asked questions documents. Some of these are very technical because they are targeted to industry, but most of them are written in layman's terms and they are intended to be used by the general public. And they address things like I mentioned, flaring, water use, hydraulic fracturing. So if somebody has questions about some of the work that we do, the frequently asked questions area is a good place to start. This is a screenshot of our GIS map. I mentioned earlier that we do have all the wells and pipelines on this GIS map. It is updated every 24 hours. And just as an example for today, I typed in the address of this building. And from here you can see that there is a surface. I'm going to try to use the technology here. We've got a surface location here. And then when I hover my mouse over this well up here, this is showing the downhole location. And it pops up and it tells me who the operator is, that it's a gas well, and so on. From there, I can double click on that well, and it pops up another dialog box. And within this dialog box, I get additional information, plus various hot links that I can then click through, and I can look at image records associated with that specific well. Permits, all the image records, production reports, things of that sort. You can just access it that way. So all of that information is on our website and easy to find. And if you want, you can change the background for the map so that you're seeing a satellite view. So what we see here is that surface location. So if we were driving down the street, we would see that. But then those well sites, it's hard to see here, but they're way out here, and many of them are thousands of feet under the ground. The particular well that we clicked on was 8,402 feet beneath the surface. So you would not see it. We have a series of subscription services. So if